Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Well, it's been lovely to see all of the enthusiasm for the Maggie-inspired projects that I've been working on. The scrolls, just seeing everybody's Maggie-licious scrolls appearing in the Facebook group and the Discord community. It's been lovely for me, and it's been lovely for Maggie, I think, because she's just I don't think she had any idea what an inspiration she is and how inspired, how much we all love her work. So that's been really lovely to see. Now I have got one more project to work on. This is the big one I've been waiting for. So I'm going to start on that today. I'm going to make a piece inspired by these beauties from Maggie. I'll give you a closer look in a minute. I have shown them before, and I'm going to use the piece that I make to turn into what I'm going to call a gather up bag. One that opens out completely flat, throw everything in the middle, and you draw it up to create a neat little pouch. So that's where I'm going with this. Once this project is done and Maggie month comes to a close at the next live, not the Whip and Wobble Wednesday weekly lives, but the next big live, the one that happens on the first Saturday of every month. So this one will be the 2nd of August. We're gonna, as a kind of celebratory roundup of this Maggie month, we're gonna do some lovely giveaways, packs of. I've got some of this fabric and some of the beautiful fabrics that Maggie sent me as well to make up some little packs for slow stitches, and also a couple of Maggie's actual pieces that I'm going to be giving away as well. So watch this space to find out how to be in with a chance of winning one of those if you'd like to. Meanwhile, let's get on and make the final project. I say final project, I think I'm going to be taking Maggie's inspiration with me for sure into the future. Definitely what I've learned on this little journey will inspire many projects in the future. So let's show you what I'm doing now. Let's go to the desk. I'll give you a quick look in case you missed the earlier. I'll link to the earlier Maggie videos as well, but just to give you a closer look, you can see that every inch of this fabric is absolutely covered with stitching. It's been backed with this batting. Here's the other one. And these would make beautiful bags or cushions or whatever. As I say, I'm going to make mine into one of these gather up bags. What I will be doing is looking very closely at what Maggie's done here, how she's worked. I'm going to be using the same kind of threads that she uses, and just really learning by copying. These are scrolls that Maggie made. This is the one that will be given away. This is the one that I made following her example. I'll link to those videos. I also did a video making these little funky junky, I'm calling them funky junky little spool soldiers. Which have got a button on the bottom and a bead on the top, so that they'll stand upright. The next thing I'm going to do is make a little display unit out of an old shoebox to store them in. And I also had a go at making, inspired by Kate in our Facebook group, painting some of these little peggies, which are also lovely to store your slow stitched or arty. Doesn't have to be stitched. Artsy mixed media scrolls are lovely stored on these as well. So all of those are in videos. I'll link to them. Now let's move on to the next project. So this fabric is quite wide. If you want to get hold of some of this fabric yourself, you can buy it easily. You can certainly get it here in the UK. You can get it through Amazon. If you type in something like Indian block printed fabric, this will come. I found it was really easy to find. The only thing, and it's a very reasonable price. The only thing is you have to buy 5 yards of it, and I found it for about 25 quid for the 5 yards, which I thought was brilliant. Both Maggie and our Jen have both sent me pieces of this fabric, which is so kind of them, which means I will have some for the giveaways, which is lovely. I'm going to use a piece now for this project. And I'm going to start by making a square which is about half the width of the fabric. It's about 110 centimetres wide, I think, this fabric. So I've just I just tore off a piece that was 110 centimetres that way and then folded the fabric in half and tore it again. So I've ended up with a square roughly 55 centimetres across, but I mean, it's not crucial. And I've now folded it in quarters. It's not folding absolutely perfectly. It's one of those fabrics that doesn't sort of go exactly perfectly along the grain. But this will do. And I just want to make a circle, and I'm going to do this in a bit of a weird looking way, but it'll work. So I've got my heat erasable pen. It's coming up to this mark here. So now I'm going to keep that point on that corner, move it round a little bit, mark that point again, move it round a little bit, mark it again. And I'm just going to keep doing that. I know it seems like a bit of a wonky way to make a circle, but I think it will work. Certainly will work well enough for my purposes here. So I've seen these gather up bags. I saw them first as kind of, ready-made bags. I thought that's a good idea. I wonder if I could make that. And then I looked on YouTube, and there are a few people doing tutorials for these as well. But I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. You barely really need a tutorial, to be honest. I'm going to be backing this with a thin cotton batting, and then I will need something to go on the inside as well. I could even use, because I took that one strip off and then tore it in half to get this, I could line it with the same fabric but just have it only embroidered on the outside. Perhaps I could do that. I've now got this little series of dashes that I've made with my pen. All I'm going to do now is link them up to make a circle. And then when I open it out, I might need to tidy it a little bit, but we'll see. As I always say, embrace the wonk. We're not making a fitted garment or something here. Accuracy isn't paramount here. Okay, so I've got my circle there, and of course all of these little offcuts and things that I'm going to be getting now will all be lovely to add to scrolls and things later on. So I will keep all of this. Any very, very tiny snippets will go in my orts. So kind of that will go in my orts. The rest of it, all of that, cut that off. All of that is big enough to use for scrolls and things. So I shan't be wasting that. Now let's open it out and see how much of a circle we've got. If this is a big oval, I'm going to be really disappointed. Actually, that is pretty blimming good. Let's see if I can pull it out a little bit more. Look at that. I can't show you it all at once, but you can see that's made a pretty good circle. So now I need to cut a piece of my batting the same size. Oops. So I'm going to use this fairly lightweight cotton batting. You could use something like old t-shirt material. I just like something behind it to give a little bit of texture and weight a little bit of body to the fabric to stitch into. It just makes the stitching feel nicer while you're doing it, and I like the texture that it gives you when you're done as well. So I'm going to now stop recording a minute, get this cut out the same size, and then I'm ready to do some stitching. I cut a rough square, just slightly bigger than my circle, not quite all around. The width of the piece of batting that I've got isn't quite wide enough to go all the way. I'm not going to worry about that last little part, because most of that's going to be taken up in the side edge. I don't think it's going to matter. It's even smaller on this side. If it did bother me, I could patch a little piece there, but I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to use what I've got. Pinned it all round first, and now I'm just finishing up tacking it. I've just done a little tacking stitch all around the outside. I've used this rainbow thread because, as usual, I won't be taking my tacking stitches out. I like seeing the working stitches, and if they do get seen, they'll be pretty because they're rainbow coloured. Chances are these will end up being inside that outer edge anyway. So yeah, so that's that bit done, and now I'm ready to start the fun part, the decorative stitching. I'm not going to worry about cutting these corners off for now. I don't think it really matters at the moment. I'm just going to jump in. I feel like I want to start on this, I was calling it an onion. I reckon it's meant to be a fig, not an onion. But anyway, this thing, I just love it. And I'm going to look at how Marion's done hers. So you can see here. So she always uses this perlé thread. I've dug out all of the perlé threads I've got. Resisted the temptation to use this as an excuse to buy more, because you can see I have got enough. I have got enough. Probably going to wish I had more of this colour. I know I'm going to want pink and yellow, but I've got a variegated pink there and a variegated yellow there. And I've got, those are all size 8 perlé thread. These I think are size 5, a little bit thicker, which Maggie does use sometimes. I might end up couching those down. So I think I've got plenty there. I've been buying a lot of threads just recently. I'm looking for bargains to take with me for the Bazaar event. So I just thought I can't justify buying any more thread. So yeah, let's have a look at what Maggie's done here. I'm going to go close you in again. It looks like she's used either a variegated thread or an assortment of different colours. I think it's variegated because you can see where it changes. And she's just done lines of straight stitching following the lines of this shape. And then here, this one is an interesting stitch. Let's get you even a little bit closer. This looks like a kind of running stitch. Not running stitch, sorry, chain stitch. So I'm going to have a go at doing that. I like the way it's got bigger to fill in the shape and then narrower again as the shape comes in. So I'm going to try that because that looks really interesting. So yeah, let's start with the onion. Stroke fig. Stroke pomegranate. What do you think it is? I think it's probably a fig. We'll take it from there. So what kind of... I think I had a small amount of... There we are. For variegated perlé left. So let's use that. I've got one of my favourite little chenille needles. It looks huge and chunky, I know, but it's what I like to work with. I like that it makes a big hole for the thread to go through so it doesn't damage the thread as you're pulling it through. It's easy to thread because it's a nice large eye. It's easy for me to keep hold of. Yeah, just like them. These are called chenille needles. I like crewel needles as well. Needle threader, stroke mini pincushion. Let's just do a knot to start. And let's have a go at that variety of what is it you call it? A version, like a version of a chain stitch. So I'm just going to do one kind of normal chain stitch to start with. And that's filled that space nicely. So now with this next one, I'm going to go out towards the edge of the shape that I'm filling. I don't know if this is going to work because I've never tried doing this before. And then instead of going back in the same spot, or pretty much the same spot, I'm going to go out to the other side of that shape that I'm filling. So it's kind of giving it a wider base to the stitch. And now I'm coming up on the other side of the stitch there, of the shape rather, there. And now make that little loop again. Again, instead of going in back in where I came out like you would for a normal chain stitch, I'm gonna go right the way over here on the other side of the shape and come up a little bit further along. I think this is what Maggie's done. It's certainly given the right sort of effect. Yeah, so it's the chain is getting wider as we go along to fill out the shape, and then I can bring it in again as we go down. God, it's hot in here today. Whew. Yeah, that's a fun little stitch. Well, I've already learnt something. I don't know if it looks exactly like what Maggie's done, but it's an interesting effect. I'd like to be able to put the fan on, but I can't because it makes so much noise. You can hear it on the video. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it? Can't believe I've never thought of trying that before. So now the shape is starting to narrow in again. Let's start bringing it in. All I've got to do is keep following, going back and forth, left and right, following the shape that's there. Cute. I'll compare in a minute, see if it looks like I've got the same effect. I'm not trying to slavishly follow what Maggie's done. I'm just trying to learn from and be inspired by her piece. And you think about it, the great artists back in the day used to learn by copying the master artist, didn't they? That's what I'm doing, learning from a master. Going to be lovely to meet up with Maggie again at the Bazaar event. So I met up with Marion there met up with Marion in person for the first time there last time. Now Maggie and Marion know each other already. They belong to a small stitching Facebook group, so they kind of knew each other that way. And Marion is helping me to organise the little slow stitching corner. So Marion, Maggie and I will be meeting up. Maggie's friend Sue is coming with her. I haven't met her either. We've got our Granny Sue coming with her granddaughter Jess. Got Lucy coming. So we're all staying quite nearby to each other, so that's going to be brilliant. We've got Kaz coming all the way from Australia. She's staying just down the road from me. I believe Diane said she was coming. If you are thinking of coming along, please don't be shy. Come and say hello to us. Come and sit and have a go. Sit and do a bit of stitching with us. Even if it's just a few stitches. We'll be working on our community quilt. And you're very welcome to come and make a little piece to stitch on, or just add just a few stitches, just so you've made your mark on it. When it's all done and finished, it's going to get auctioned off for charity, so that'll be really nice, hopefully in time for Christmas. There, I'm really pleased with that so far. Looks lovely in the variegated thread, which I always enjoy. I might as well just finish up this last little bit of variegated thread now. Just do some little running stitches to the end. Probably got enough to start going down the next one as well. Yeah, I will I'll put a link to the video all about the Bazaar event as well, in case you've not seen it yet. It's free to come along during the day, see all the amazing stalls and things that Bazaar put out, just to see all of their gorgeousness, all their beautiful things from India. We all love their scrap packs, but they also do clothes and jewellery and home items. It's beautiful to see, it really is. And it's in a lovely setting, the Sussex Prairie Gardens. The atmosphere is wonderful. You've got the gardens tea room there. You've also got Alex's curry's being served. We're going to be there on the 16th and 17th of August. It's all free to come along, but you do need to book a slot. You just need to book in. If you go on the Bazaar website, I will link to everything. You just need to book in. If you want to stay on the 16th, it's Bhangra night. I call it Bhangra night. It's the garden party. So there's Bhangra music, all kinds of other entertainment going on. It's an absolutely wonderful experience. I promise you, Marion and I had the best time ever. For that, you do need to buy a ticket. That's £35 per adult, or £45 if you have Alex's vegetarian thali, which I thoroughly recommend. It is delish. But you can bring your own picnic, you bring your own drinks. I would say bring your own chair as well if you're coming, because there can be a shortage of chairs, so if you're able to bring a fold-up chair or whatever, please do. I'm just waffling on here while I stitch. I can't even remember what I've told you now, but yeah, all the information is in that video where I'll probably make a bit more sense. I'm a bit hot today, I'm not really thinking very clearly. Right, let's have a look at Maggie's fig onion. I think I've done a pretty good job of that. Look, pretty similar heart. Like I say, I'm not trying to slavishly copy it, but and in fact I'm not going to slavishly copy it, because I want to do French knots where the dots are on these now, and that's not what Maggie's done. So Maggie has filled in with this kind of expanding chain stitch. She's filled in all of these white areas, so I'm going to do that. I think I'll put dots here, and I'll put the straight stitching where the dark lines are. Yeah. So let's have another piece of that thread. I feel like this is a little bit, I don't think this is a size 8, I think this is a little bit thicker than what Maggie's used there, which is a 5, no, this is a size 5. What Maggie's used is a size 8. That's why it looks a little bit thicker. Yes, I'm thoroughly looking forward to that, and as I'm recording this, to go out the end of the week, it will only be like 3 weeks away, I think, by the time this video goes out. If you're not able to join us and you would like to make a little piece to add to the community quilt, you are very welcome to send me a piece. If you don't have my address already from previous swaps, if you do, if you've got my address from previous swaps, it hasn't changed, it's the same address. If not, email me. My link tree is in the description box. If you click on that link tree, you'll find all sorts of things will come up at the Facebook group and the Discord community, and also my email address. If you email me there, let me know you want to send a piece of the quilt, and I will let you have my address to send it to. If you can get it to us by sort of mid-August at the latest, I can take it with me to add to the quilt during the event. But if you can't get it done in time, don't worry, send it to me after, and I will add it in. Assuming we've still got room. I think if we haven't got room, we might have to start a second quilt, or maybe we'll do a smaller piece like a cushion. But yeah, I can always add it afterwards, but it would be nice to have them to take with me already tacked onto the quilt, so that we can all be working on filling in the gaps, adding blending stitches and things. We'll make little extra patches and things. Yeah, it's going to be such fun. Quite a challenge bringing all of the different styles and colours and things together, because there's no colour theme or anything goes. So yeah, it is going to be quite a challenge, I think, but a fun one. I've done a little line of just running stitches there. Now I'm going to do French knots wherever there's one of these dots in the pattern. It's something Maggie loves to do and I love to do, just basically treating this printed fabric like a colouring book, and filling in and doodling around the patterns that are already there in the fabric. It's just the most relaxing thing to do. And like I've said before, during this whole Maggie exploration, she doesn't use complicated fancy embroidery stitches at all. It's kind of blanket stitch, chain stitch, French knots, a bit of feather stitch, running lots and lots of just straight running stitch. Back stitch, uses quite a bit of back stitch. It's those kind of nothing fancy, bit of satin stitch, nothing any of us can't do. It's her magic is in her mix, how she mixes the colours and patterns and creates all of this texture. She always uses this perlé thread, I think mostly number 8 but some number 5, and what you usually see her doing is patching small scraps of fabric to create her own background to work into. I did have an experiment with another thing that she does, which is using stamps and stencils to create a background onto plain calico. I'm going to put another dot there because I feel it's begging for one. But yeah, so I had to go at that. That was fun, and I'm going to look forward to stitching into that. I've lost my thread, so to speak. Let's do a bit more straight stitching up here now. But yeah, it's just fairly simple stitching, but lots and lots of it. So I think that's all the different stitches I've shown you that I'm going to use on this fig onion. I'm going to carry on and finish the onion now, and then come back and do a bit more of something else with you. Just keep it interesting. There's just so much scope on this gorgeous fabric. It's going to be really nice to make up some lovely packs of fabrics to send out to people. I will be sending them out internationally as well, so I think I mentioned earlier we'll be doing those. We'll be doing the draw for them during the August arty-farty party, Saturday night in August the 2nd, and you'll be able to join for the giveaway during that stream. But if you're not going to be able to join us for that giveaway, so if you're one of my regular peeps but you know the time zone is wrong for you, or you've got to be working, or something has happened, or for whatever reason you're not going to be there to be able to join the giveaway and you would like to, email me. Again, the email I was talking about just now that you'll find in my link tree in the description box. Email me, let me know, and I will pop your name in for you, because I wouldn't want one of my regular lovelies to miss out just because they can't make the live stream. Okay, I'm going to carry on and finish this fig onion, and then I'll be back. I go finish my fig onion. I'm quite happy with that. Now I think I'm itching to do. I'm looking at other areas and wanting to just jump around, but I think I'm going to work through area by area. So the next bit I'm going to do is this around here, and I'm looking at all of these little circles, and I'm thinking I'll do little stars, like a cross and another cross over the top. So that's something that Maggie does do. I did find an example somewhere. There's various things she does when you get little dots like that. I love this. Definitely going to be doing some of that, but I think there's room for it there. Here you go, these little circles. She's done a little star in the middle, so it's just a cross and then one more stitch over it. So I think that's what I'll do there. Look at these French dots. Oh, I can't stop feeling that. Yeah, there again, we've got just the star stitch over the circle. So yeah, I'm going to do that for these ones. It'll be nice and easy. I feel like I want to do another one, but actually it looked quite nice with just with the cross and then one more over the top. So I'm going to do that. I wonder if actually, rather than pick this red, I should have picked a contrast colour, because that's something that I will tend to match the colour that I'm seeing, whereas what Maggie will do usually is a contrast, something that's going to show up against it. Yeah, so she has done there. Yeah, I'm going to rethink what I've done there and perhaps go with the variegated yellow instead. I think that'll show up more. I think on here I'll use the red actually, because that'll show up against this yellow background. Yeah, so I'll use the red there. Let's go variegated yellow for this bit. Bright variegated yellow, or shall I do this more sort of mustardy goldy yellow? I feel like the mustardy goldy yellow will look nice with this. Let's go with that. I'm asking you questions like you can hear me. It's going to be so amazing to be sitting there stitching in person, with each sitting there actually, you know, in person with each other. I think sometimes when we're watching each other's videos and, you know, chatting during the live streams and things, we feel like I feel like you're sitting in my craft room with me, but to actually be there in person, sitting and stitching together at the Bazaar thing is going to be amazing. Okay, at least you'll be able to see what I'm doing now, won't you, as well? So, what else have I been up to this week? I've been crafting for Christmas in July with my stitch kit box. I did a coaster that I added some, I'm not getting that star shape very well, I'm going to go across again. Yeah, I made a little coaster that I kind of, it's meant to be all, it's designed to be kind of machine quilted really, but of course I had to add hand stitching, didn't I? There, that's what I'm going to do. You can still see a little bit of the red showing. And I think with one of the other coaster pieces I'm going to do kind of a take on Manx quilting. And it will be like Manx quilting, except I'm going to make the square bigger than it would be, because traditionally you do it with Manx quilting, you don't use a ruler or anything, it's all measured by your hand. That's why each quilter's pieces will be a different size, because for the size of the square you start with the span of your hand, and then there's different lengths, like you use your I can't, it's been a while since I did it now. I think for the strips you use the length of your finger, and then for something or other it was this or this. Can't remember now but yeah, that's the traditional way you do it, but I want my square to end up bigger than my hand span, so I'll be changing it up a little bit, but other than that it will be kind of Manx style. I think that would be a really nice way to use those little square coaster pieces, and also use up some of my fabric stash, some cotton prints in colours and patterns that will go nicely with those Tomtins Village fabrics. So I'm going to be doing that. I've got my display unit I must get started on now to put my little scrolls. I've got the community quilt to be working on, of course. I shall tack the pieces on as they come in, higgledy-piggledy fashion, and then they, you know, we'll be filling in the gaps as we go. So there's that to do. Getting all my hand coloured threads wound onto bobbins ready to take with me as well. I'm already planning the next inspired by project. So this month has been a Maggie month. Next month, well, it'll go into September, I guess, because the Bazaar event will take up some of the months, but I will be inspired by our Viviana. Now you'll know Viviana if you're in our Facebook group. She's in the Discord community as well, and she does the most amazing underwater fabric textile collages. Really, it's textile art. It's absolutely beautiful what she does. She uses a lot of recycled fabric. She loves the Bazaar scraps, and so I shall be using a lot of my Bazaar scraps for the project I have planned for my Viviana inspiration, and I really hope a lot of other people are going to love it too. I mean, certainly you can't not love Viviana's work. I just hope I can do it justice. We have so many amazing inspirational people in our community. last month I was working on, was it last month or was it the month before? Inspired by Christine, Create and Craft with Christine. Thoroughly enjoyed doing that, and I still have Nana's Rick Rack and the little gorgeous piece of floral fabric that Christine sent me. So I have a project in mind for that. What else? Other people in our community that will be inspiring upcoming projects. I've got the 100 Ladies project. So with that, I'm going to be channeling our Shirley for that, and also combining with that some beautiful pieces that Barbara sent me and some that Jen sent me. I'm going to do a separate Jen Inspiration Month as well. Jen definitely needs a month all to herself. Have a Tory project in my head. Basically, the head never stops working, and even if it did, I'd only have to just have a quick look at some of my friends' YouTube channels or a quick stroll through the Facebook group, and I'd be buzzing again. I could sit here and chatter all day while I stitch this, but I'm sure, although everybody's always very kind about my waffle, I'm sure there are limits. So I'm going to turn the camera off again and carry on going all around here. And then I'm going to do a little bit with this, and then I think that will be it for this video. I think this is a piece I'm going to have to work on over. Perhaps I'll do some in the Whip and Waffle Wednesdays. I certainly will come back and show how I'm going to put the bag together. Yeah, I think this is going to need 2 or 3 videos, this project, really. And we need to have a good close look at what Maggie's done with each little area of this fabric. Learn from the expert. Yeah, I like that. That's cute, isn't it? Such a beautiful fabric, this, for doing this kind of thing. I mean, it's just like made for it, isn't it? Doodling with your thread. Very, very relaxing. Okay, I'm going to carry on and go all around here, and I'll be back to do some of this kind of foliage here. Gone sort of halfway around there. Missed this little bit because that'll get cut off anyway, and I just thought I'll do a little bit of this and a little bit of this rather than do the whole lot, and then I can finish the rest downstairs this evening. Can't wait to do these bits. I think I'll do lazy daisies all around them, chain stitch in the middle, lazy detached chains around there. So now I thought what I'll do is follow these swirly lines with backstitch. I've just picked out this variegated pink. I don't know why, but that's calling to me. I'll do a kind of a Y stitch into the leaf as well. Might as well start with a Y stitch there, actually. Y stitch, fly stitch, whatever it is, I don't know. And I'll just follow the outline of the leaf. Just have a look at how Maggie's done it. There's a couple of different examples. So with this one, this same bit on this one, she's done French knots in these circles around the outside. Great big, very fat French knots. Possibly done with the number 5, I think, rather than, oh, they feel nice. And then just straight stitching all over this pattern. So you don't have to always, sometimes it's a good idea, isn't it, just to, just have a little area where I can rest a little bit. I love what she's done here with this kind of circular blanket stitch there. Love that idea. So I'll probably copy that rather than what I just said. Now I've seen it. Back stitch in here. Now there was another example of it. Here she's doing something similar to what I'm going to do actually, but with a more contrasting with a purple in there. And in this one she's done something similar but with a red, and it's a chunkier thread. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. So there's just crosses in each of the circles around the edge of this one. Again, back stitch here. I love this. This is like a blanket stitch, isn't it? I forgot what you call that. Is it a reverse blanket stitch? No. where the legs of the blanket stitch go out, almost like doing an eyelet really. Just love that. Definitely going to be doing some of that. For this one, I'm going to stick with my fly stitch, Y stitch, whatever it's called. So that leaf's pretty quick to do, isn't it? And let's do this one as well. Yeah, I just thought if I just do little bits of a few different areas with you, then I can finish it off camera, and that way next time I can move into a different area. I just think that's going to I'll be able to share more of it with you that way. Okay. And then let's do the Y stitch again here. I might do some of that. I just call it leaf stitch and I actually don't know what it's called, so I might do some of that in one of the other areas. Show you that when I come to it. But there, none of these are complicated stitches at all. Right, let's do some back stitch now, going down the stem. I always tend to end up whipping back stitch, but I'm not going to because I'm emulating Maggie, and it's not something Maggie tends to do. Not as far as I've noticed anyway. I think this variegated pink is nice for this. Let's go up here and finish this one. It really is just stitchy doodling. Enormously relaxing to do because you're just not really having to think, especially because if I'm in any doubt what to do in a particular area, I can just have a look at Maggie's example. Just make the stitches slightly smaller here as the curve gets tighter. Okay, so I will do that all over that pattern. Yeah, all of these, I think these are maybe meant to be flowers rather than leaves, but I'll do exactly the same thing there. I might decide to vary it up and just do detached chain in there for a bit of light relief. I'm not sure until I get there really. Yeah, nothing more complicated than that. So let's leave that bit and do a little bit of checkerboard. So for the checkerboard bit, I'm just going to do as Maggie did. I'm going to just do a line of stitching in this darker blue between all the checks, and then I think I might end up doing a little star or something in the middle of the blue as well. We'll see how I feel when I get there. Kind of almost feel like I want to do chain stitch rather than back stitch here, but no, let's go with back stitch. I've run out of words now, I can't speak. I was saying to Marion earlier, we were messaging in Discord, and I was saying I need to have a kind of practice packing soon. Just see exactly how much room the threads and needles and bits and pieces that I'm bringing with me. The slow stitching corner in August, and the quilt itself, exactly how much room those are going to take up, because I've also extended my stay by a couple of days so as to have more time with people that are you know, staying nearby. I'm thinking of getting one of those kind of backpack cool bag things. Tom and I found them on looking at them on Amazon, because we were joking about keeping my G&Ts cool in the evening on Saturday. Now if it's one that can be worn as a backpack that I can pack other things into, then I can maybe manage to carry it. But yeah, I think I need a bit of a dress rehearsal because I might have overestimated how much I think I'm going to be able to carry. Especially because I'm travelling on my own, I'm going to have to change trains at in London a couple of times, so it's going to be a little bit hairy. And I always get a bit panicky like on the tube and that anyway. I'm hoping not be on the Elizabeth line, the new tube. I try not to think about how deep underground it is. I think it's deeper than all the others. Just try and put that out of my head. But it's really nice, and it's not as busy as some of the others. It's all clean and lovely at the moment. Okay, so while I've been waffling away, I've nearly finished this bit of thread. Let's just see if there's enough to take me across here. Because the way this is printed, the lines aren't exact, but nothing is exact in my stitching, so that's fine. I'm itching to whip it now, and I might even end up doing that. Like I said, I don't have to slavishly do everything exactly as Maggie does it. I can take the inspiration but still put my spin on it. So if I decide I really, really want to whip those back stitches, then I will do that. But I'll wait and see how I feel a little bit later. I do think maybe I want to do a little star or something inside each of these checks. Yeah, just a little star like I've done there. Something like that. Or a little four-pointed lazy daisy. Something like that would look quite cute, wouldn't it? Should we try it? Should we just try it now? I feel like I might get a better looking line if I just drew where I'm going to stitch first, because I can always... So I will be able to get rid of this line afterwards. I just feel like if I've got a straight line to follow, rather than letting myself be confused by the wobbly lines of the print. Yeah, I think that would be better. Let's try, did that mustardy colour go there? Just thinking a little bit of that. A little bit of in there. That will help to kind of bring these areas together a little bit. Maggie always says she doesn't really have much of a plan when she goes in. She has her favourite colours. She tends to pick a colour. She will pick a colour that she thinks will show up nicely against whatever area she's working on, and she just goes for it, and she just covers the whole surface with stitching until she's happy with it. Right, let's try a little bit of do over here. Just thinking detached chains, like a lazy daisy, but not going all the way around. So just 4 points, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. Don't think Maggie's done this on this actual piece, but I think it's the kind of thing she would do. I reckon I'm a Maggie Morris expert now. I've studied her form. Might end up doing another colour inside of those chains, like a double chain stitch. That's something, definitely a thing that I've seen Maggie do. I've noticed, although like I said earlier, she doesn't use complicated stitches, what I like is that she plays with the simpler stitches and does clever things with them, like that, you know, this chain stitch, altering the width of the chain to fill the shape that you're stitching in. I'd never thought of doing that. Also, she sometimes does lines of straight stitching and then takes another thread and threads it in and out of those lines of straight stitching to create a kind of like a net across. I will be doing some of that, so that'll make sense when I show you. If it doesn't make, I can't. Do you know, it's so hot I can't even speak anymore. You know when you get so hot you feel like your brain's melting. That's what I feel like right now. It'll be a lot more pleasant stitching downstairs in the cool. Shame I can't film down there, but you wouldn't see very much. Because I've also got, as well as the general heat and the fact that I can't have a fan on, the computer fan, which you can probably hear because the microphone's quite near it. The computer's throwing out quite a bit of heat, and I've got two dirty great LED lights blaring down on me as well, so that is why it is so hot. Yeah, I think that's going to be alright, and I might do a blue dot or something in the middle of each one of these, just to fill all of that in. Another thing I've seen Maggie do is just to put like a line of chain or some sort of, cut it as some boulder line in between pieces, so I'll probably do that here as well. Also, I'll finish the rest of this this thread up with some more stars. This would be an ideal thing to do trim, whip and waffle Wednesdays, and well, any live thing really where I need something I haven't got to think too hard about, so I can keep up with the live chat. I sat and watched the other night. I was so busy stitching, I got so engrossed, and I was watching a series on Netflix called 1923, and I didn't realise what the time was. John came downstairs to see where I was. It was 4 o'clock in the morning and I'd watched the entire season of 1923 except for the last 20 minutes of the last episode. That's because I just got so engrossed in my project as well. Got a feeling this is going to be the same tonight. So yeah, now I've got my lines drawn out, I'll have slightly less crooked lines here. Let's just do a little bit of the backwards blanket stitching on here. I'm going to do this now. I like the boldness of the chain there. That yeah, it's quite nice to have that sort of lime green there. I think I'll do that as well. So I'm going to be using these kind of what I'm thinking of as backward blanket stitches, and that's not what they're called at all. But I'm going to be using them in 2 different ways here really. So let's do these ones on this arch first. On these scallop shapes. Like eyelashes, don't they? Really funky eyelashes. Yeah, I quite like that. So I'll do that on each of those scallops, and then a chain stitch around here and a back stitch around there in a contrast. So I'll come back to that in a minute. And then I wanted to do some of that kind of eyelet effect on this as well. Now what colour? Now thinking about the pink again. I'm going for the pink again. I don't know why I'm in a pink mood today. I haven't got all the colours I'd like to have. One other thing I will probably do is bring out I've got a handful of brightly coloured crochet cotton balls, and I have done a lot of stitching with them in the past, so I might bring them out because I think I've got a nice turquoise and a limey green in them. So right, okay, let's have a go with this. I think this time I'm not going to make all the legs of the blanket stitch the same length. I'm going to vary the length of them and have them go all the way out to the edge of the flower, which is a little bit different to what Maggie's done. That's the same. I'm not trying to slavishly copy. I'm just taking inspiration. Yeah, it's sort of like a flower-shaped eyelet, isn't it, really? Maybe I'll do some yellow French knots in the middle to show the centre of the flower. If this was a piece of paper, or a colouring book, an adult colouring book, and you had your pens out and you were doodling into all the shapes, that's what I'm doing with thread. That's all it is, really. It will be nice, although I always say I don't think you need to have a reason. I don't think slow stitched pieces need to have a purpose, but it is always quite nice if you can turn your lovely slow stitch pieces into something that's useful. So I think turning this big piece into a gather up bag will be quite fun. Okay, I might do some more kind of Y stitch there too for those kind of leafy looking bits, and that's different from what Maggie's done, but just sort of inspired by it. I'm going to use this really leery variegated yellow for this bit now, and I'm wondering if that's what I should have done in there really. Could still change it. And there's something about, you know, once it's all covered, every inch of it is covered with stitching, and look at how different it looks and how different it feels. I wish I had Feely Vision, because the difference in how this feels now it's all stitched all over is just like, yeah, I can't describe it. You need to be here really. Well, one person will be lucky enough to win one of these pieces. So, so that flower looks completely different now, doesn't it? I could have done detached lacy daisies here. As I say, pistol stitches. But yeah, that's a good beginning, I think. I'll leave that on the back to carry on with. So I think I've given myself enough to work on this evening at least. I'm showing you all the stitchings that I'm going to be using, so when I come back next time we're going to the next area. Perhaps yeah, I'm looking forward to this part. Looking forward to seeing what Maggie's done with those areas, and the strawberries are going to be really fun, and this is pretty. Look at these little houses, don't they? Or little rockets. Okay, so I will carry on and do this, and next time I come back we'll move into another area, and I think I'll just keep on working on this during live streams and stuff until it's done. I'm kind of annoyed now I didn't do my fig onion exactly the same as Maggie's, because I just don't like mine as much as Maggie's. It's funny, isn't it? Maybe I could still add the straight stitching and just leave the French knots there as well. Don't know. Times like this I need to close my eyes, go and get dinner ready or something instead, and come back and see what I think with fresh eyes in a little while. Okay, so that is it for me for today. Whew, it's time to go downstairs in the cool. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you again to my dear friend Maggie for sending me the fabric, and for sharing all your wonderful inspiration. You're amazing. You just don't know how amazing you are. Maybe you're starting to get the idea now. I think if I hadn't have already met Maggie last year when we were both happened to be down in Cornwall at the same time, she was just so lovely. We had such a lovely time. I'd feel quite daunted about meeting her, like meeting some kind of rock star, a rock star of slow stitching. Okay, that's it from me for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, and thank you very much to all of my channel members. I'm going to scroll up here while I'm talking. You're amazing, you guys. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I say it every time, and I've run out of words I haven't used before, but you know I mean it. I just really appreciate your support, and thank you to everybody who just watches the videos, comments, likes, all that stuff. Thank you to all of you who are part of our amazing community. It means the world to me. I don't think I'm going to be running out of ideas to try anytime soon, so it's really lovely to be able to share my adventures with you. Like, just, yeah, icing on the cake. Okay. She just can't stop waffling, that woman.